What's your mate? How's it hanging? How's it happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by Dark Fusion Systems, the best for your custom computer needs. Whether you need a custom computer for gaming, streaming, music, creative, art, business, they will build the best PC for you. So get $100 off your entire business code CVPod at darkfusionsystems.com. Link to the podcast below. Now our feature presentation. Oh, we got another great one for you, and it's a heavy one, baby. We have Taylor Barber from the band Left to Suffer on the podcast today with a brand new album called Leap of Death, coming out in August, on August 16th, and currently on a small run with Hanabiye, and coming up, the Summer Slaughter Tour. We talk about why Left to Suffer can continue to go on all these incredible tours, match with so many other bands, why that individuality and that creativity is necessary, why genre blending is so popular in metal right now, and why it's continuing to grow the genre, and why Taylor's lyrics are just absolutely fantastic. You guys ready? Let's go! Yeah! Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. If you want an episode that was going to be heavy as absolutely all hell with an artist that's heavy as all hell, you came to the right fucking place. This band is a brand new album called Leap of Death, coming out on August, I believe it's August 16th. Yep, I got it in my notes here. But between then, they'll be on a small run throughout May with Hanabiye, and then they're on the freaking Summer Slaughter Tour. So you know you're going to want to go check it out. You're going to want to go make sure you're in the pit for this band. And if you get punched in the face like I did the last time I saw them, just enjoy it because it's a good time. So please welcome Mr. Taylor Barber from Left to Suffer the podcast. So
Let's
Taylor,
go in
welcome.
the fuck on. What up, dude? Thank you for having me, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Dude, it is fantastic to have you on the podcast. It's fantastic to actually get to talk to you after seeing you just completely rip up. I think it was the Gideon tour you guys were on. I was there and I'm like, I seen you guys rip up on stage. I'm just like, holy shit. I gotta see more of this. And I think I got punched in the face after I saw that. And I'm like, I gotta do more of that.
Hell yeah. Yeah, our fucking our shows get a little bit wild sometimes, but it's all part of the process and all part of the atmosphere and the joy of coming to a heavy metal concert.
I mean, it has to be because you're just going there. You guys are up there on stage playing some heavy as all hell music, just putting out that visceral, raw energy. And us in the crowd, we get to experience it with you and then just go absolutely ape crazy. And you guys bring it every freaking time too. So it's one of those things where people know and they go see Left to Suffer. It's going to be heavy, manic, loud, and fucking awesome.
Absolutely, dude. It's actually a really good description. The manic, heavy, and loud. That's actually it's exactly what we are. That's so funny.
Put it on a t-shirt, man. Put it at the merch table, sell it, and see what happens.
The manic thing is the best one.
Oh, absolutely. And then, of course, like looking what you guys got going on now. I mean, going out on a small run with Hanabiye, and Manic is the name of the game for that tour. And then Summer Slaughter is just like, holy shit. That's what I really want to dive into with how deep that lineup is. So how the hell did you guys get on that?
Dude, we just got hit up, man. Like, we have an insane team behind us, dude, that like helps us, push our boundaries and push us like to get to these like different tours. Cause like a lot of these bands, whatever they want to do, everyone's route is different, but like we've always been a band who's wanted to tour with like different bands, but like in the same realm, not, you know what I mean, but like kind of like don't want to just do like the same deathcore tour over and over again, or like the same like death metal tour over and over again and stuff. And like, that's why we're going on tour with like these metalcore bands and like Hanabiye, which is like a super weird like hybrid band, you know what I mean? Or we did like Red Rocks with Sullivan King, who is like a dubstep artist, you know what I mean? So there's just like a whole bunch of things that go into us getting tours like that. It's like because we've just put ourselves in like a different we put ourselves in a different area, I guess, so that like we fit on like a metalcore tour, and we also fit on a deathcore tour, and we also fit on a Hanabiye run. You know what I mean? So it's like it's pretty cool. But yeah, we just got asked, dude. They literally hit us up. They're like, "Yo, does Left to Suffer want to play?" And we were like, "Of course." We were like, "Hell yeah!"
I mean, that's just a testament to not only the work rate you guys have put in, but the fan base and the sound you guys have amassed for yourselves. Because I still remember, I mean, I've been doing this podcast for a little bit over 5 years now. So I remember when you guys first started out, and it was just the amount of positivity that was coming from this band called Left to Suffer. I was like, I'm going to keep an eye on this one just to see what's going on. and just continually growing and continue to see where the band has gone since then, it makes sense that you guys have continued to grow and have that positivity to the fact that you're not constricting yourself to just one type of tour, one type of run, where you guys are able to go out with these deathcore bands, these death metal bands, play really well and connect, and play with metalcore bands, going out in the Summer Slaughter tour, going out with Hanabi, where you're getting like massive Japanese metalcore, kawaii-core, whatever you want to call it. It's all in there. And then,
That's
of
crazy.
course, opening for Sullivan King, EDM at Red Rocks. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but for you guys, it absolutely does, because you put yourself in the position to do that.
Yeah, you got to manifest whatever area of music that you want to be in. You know what I mean? It's like if you want to stay in the deathcore realm, if that's just like your taste and that's your tea, like, you know what I mean? Like, make your, like, you know, do that. But like, we've always been a band who's wanted to like push the boundaries a little bit, and we wanted to be like kind of weird, you know, in a way. We've always just like written what we wrote, like what we wanted to write. Like, nobody's ever been like, you have to do this, you have to do that. Like, that's why our music is so crazy and weird and freeform, is because it's just like we're just five dudes writing music, like whatever whatever music we want. We could write a fucking pop song. It would be like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? We'll put it out. You know, it's like we wrote like the Forever song with Alejandro that we just put out, which is like a pop deathcore like kind of song, and people were like, whoa, what the fuck, dude? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we just kind of do whatever we want.
Yeah, when I first listened to Forever, I was a little surprised. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I was not expecting you guys to go that route, but it speaks again to the fact that you guys are connecting with people, so many people, are able to do so many things, because you're not limiting your creativity to one specific thing. You're not limiting that creativity to one sound. Because, of course, you go to the other thing you have with Lost in the Dark, with Paleface Swiss. That is just manic, in your face, heavy,
same
the whole
album
entire way through, and it's the same album. And another track list, like back-to-back songs. I'm like, what? How is this possible? Even going through even further, you got a song on with Lil Los and Alejandro again. Then you did a song with Spite, and it's just like, okay, so we're gonna get some wackiness here. We're gonna get some crazy, but we're gonna get that depth that shows that creativity. We're gonna get the depth that shows the individuality that Left to Suffer has, that allows you guys to do so many different things and try so many different, so many different ideas. Try going out with, as an opener for Sullivan King, which still blows my mind that you guys open for like an EDM artist, even though he has more of those metal tendencies to him. Just, I still can't believe that happened.
Yeah, stuff like that just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? And it takes, people who are willing to take that like weird step and like be the different band and be the creative like outlet for like whatever the fuck you want to do, and not try to like fit yourself into these like niche subgenres that everybody's formed for everybody. Like, we've always prided ourselves on just being freeform, dude, and that's why we get like these weird things that happen, because we are just like, we're this and we're that and we're this, but we're all this overlaying like Left to Suffer, So that's just, you gotta broaden your horizon. Like, it's supposed to Bring Me the Horizon to the same thing, you know what I mean? Like, Bad Omens is doing the same thing, like Sleep Token is doing the same thing. Like, you just broaden the spectrum enough where like you can branch out and do things with other genres, dude, and keeping yourself genre fluid is like super cool nowadays, I think.
It's one of the biggest things out there, because I think about the bands that are really connecting with a lot of people and really hitting it, especially that are not, the overly established bands in rock and metal. You brought up Bring Me the Horizon, perfect example. Sleep Token, Bad Omens. Look at what Falling in Reverse is doing. There's so many branches that you never know exactly what you're going to hear. You never know what the next song is going to be. But it's a beautiful thing, because it allows for that genre fluidity to really open up. And the more we blend these things together, the more we blend these sounds together, the more creative we get, the better music we get, and the better influences that we have going forward. Younger kids are just picking up on this, and we're starting to see some of these younger bands try so many different things, because they see that it's happening, they know that it can happen, and they know that they can potentially succeed in it, because they're seeing guys like you go out there and try this stuff. Where I'm thinking about, I could easily see you guys going and opening up for like a Disturbed show without a shred of a doubt, and then the next night somehow opening up for Knocked Loose, and it would make a whole bunch of sense still. Right.
It would all still fucking fall in line with the same, same band, you know what I mean? Which is crazy. And I think that's what we've tried to pride ourselves on that for a long time, man. Like, we've always been, not afraid to take any sort of risk ever. You know what I mean? Like, it's honestly almost to a detriment. I feel like sometimes we're just like, yeah, we just don't care what people like. If people don't fuck with the music, then they don't fuck with the music. But we still are putting out music that we think is cool. You know what I mean? Which is like, I think that's what you're supposed to be doing. I don't think you're supposed to be putting out music for like, oh man, I really hope that this is like, you know what I mean? Like people really fuck with this. Like I make music for myself. I don't make it for other people.
Well, because when you make music for other people and you're trying to hit on certain tropes with the other people, exactly, it's disingenuous, and it doesn't actually have the humanity that is you within there. Yeah. If you got a feeling that's in there, if you got a sound that's in your soul that you want to put out there, absolutely go and do it. And if people don't fuck with it or just mess around with it, that's fine, because they just didn't connect with it. There's probably a lot of other people, though, that are absolutely going to fall in love with it because it does have that genuine feel to it. Plus, no band that ever made it just absolutely gigantic made it because they did the exact same thing as somebody else.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Then you're being a cover band, pretty much glorified, not cover band. But
oh god, I'm thinking
it is what it is.
I'm like, now you got me thinking about all like the local cover bands around like any major city in America that you could go to. It's like, oh yeah, they got people that show up to them because people know the songs, but it's just,
why make a living off of it?
Yeah, why make it all of a sudden? It's like, we got an original and it's just like another Motley Crue type song.
Yeah, whatever, dude. More power to them, dude. If they're enjoying having fun, ripping other bands off or covering other bands, and more power to them, I guess.
I guess, man, more power to them. But still, one other thing I do want to jump into specifically is, of course, the new album you got coming out, Leap of Death. Again, it's coming out later in August, so you get to go through the whole entire summer start through, maybe sprinkling some of these songs in there for everyone to get to listen to. But overall, throughout the rest of the album, we know the two singles. We know Forever. We know Lost in the Dark. What else can we expect from you guys on this album? Because knowing what you guys are able to put together, I am super curious to see what's going to happen.
So... the rest of the album is all over the place. And there's two songs that are like super radio, like singy, like catchy as fuck bangers, I think, in my opinion. And then there's another two songs that are like the heaviest, like slam songs that we've ever written. And then another one is a combination of the two. And then I think that's pretty much, that's the rest of the album. Like, there's two of the heaviest songs we've ever written, probably two of the softest songs we've ever written, and then one that's like a blend of both of them.
But it speaks to what you were talking about with the band. It shows the range that you guys have. And again, the two singles show that range exactly as well. So we're going to get that feel from where you're going to get that overall take from you. We're going to get that expansiveness of the overall sound that Left to Suffer has. And by continuing to do that, I'm just going to be even more curious to see not only how people respond to this, but where does the band continue to grow from here? Because with every single release you guys have had, the band just keeps growing and growing and growing. You guys keep getting more prominent within the scene and outside of it as well. So who's gonna, like, I'm expecting, maybe, later in the year, maybe there's a dropout of a festival or something where someone drops out and boom, Left to Suffer is the one to pick it up and people flock to it. Or next year for 2025, like every single Danny Members Presents festival gets the word out that it's like Left to Suffer is going to be playing every single one of these because everyone is asking for it. And that people are going to show up for it, especially me, because, well, that just sounds like a great fucking time.
Yeah, we haven't really been a festival band, so yeah, we haven't really gotten the opportunities and stuff, but they're definitely coming, I think, next year for sure. In my opinion, I'm pretty sure next year would be the time that the things start falling into line a little bit.
Now the question is what festivals would you think those would be? Would it be more of like the ones here in North America, or maybe festivals over in Europe too that would pick up on that? Because that would also be sick.
I think we could crush Hellfest, and I think we could do Incarceration, and I think we could do Rockville and stuff here, but yeah, I mean, Hellfest in Europe would be sick as fuck. I think that open air one...
was it Wacken?
Yeah, Wacken. I think that one would be fucking sick. There's another one. Oh, the Empiricon Festival circuit, I think would be crushed. I think we would crush that too.
Honestly, I was gonna say you could go to any of these festivals and absolutely crush it. Just because I've seen some bands just show up out of nowhere and just absolutely rip it. I mean, who knows what happens if next year you guys get an offer? Like, we've seen it happen with Coachella. We've seen Knocked Loose get offered that spot and pick up on it because they're able to reach so many other people with an insane style of music. What happens if all of a sudden next year you're that band?
We take it as it comes, and we rip the shows. You know what I mean? We keep doing what we're doing. We don't let it get to our heads, and we just, become thankful for our opportunities that give us, and then we just keep making music and keep ripping shows, dude. Like nothing changes, man. Like if we were to pop off and become some crazy huge success overnight out of nowhere, man, I feel like our core values would stay the same. I think everybody would still be, the only thing that would change is we wouldn't be roughing it in a van anymore.
Yeah, you have a nice big tour bus with, nice big trailer hauling behind you, taking everything there and just enjoying, so you don't have to potentially, sleep in a 15-passenger van.
Yeah, I think life would just get easier, you know what I mean? Like, but other than that, like, I mean, our work ethic is never going to change.
I think that's one of those things, too, where because it's kind of more of a case of not if, but when with you guys, when you get to that point, because it's just the growth continues to happen. But we're seeing as that growth continues to happen, those core values of what you guys absolutely are about for a band, as a band, when it comes to the music, when it comes to who you are, that's never changed. The connection you guys are making with the fans still has not changed. The rawness and the authenticity to your music still is there. So as you continue, as you've been growing, that's been already happening. Your core values are still there. So as you continue to grow, it's just going to keep going that way. And it seems like, especially going forward now, bands that are growing and they stick to those core values of who they are, really what they love, and really have that artistic freedom to do what they want, those are the ones that people are getting even more behind because you feel the authenticity behind them. I mean, we already mentioned bands like Bring the Horizon, we've seen Bad Omen, Sleep Token. Even take a look at the weirdness and the fun that Electric Callboy brings to the metal world. Like, people are so behind that. And it makes sense because it seems silly, but it's authentically them.
It's literally, dude. I'm friends with one of the vocalists, Kevin, and he is literally the coolest guy ever, bro. Like, he is just, and that band embraces who they are so hard, and I fucking respect that shit, dude. Because, like, a lot of bands would probably be like, oh, yeah, I'm an Electric Callboy, or like, whatever, dude. But they're, like, all about it, dude. But that, and I think that shit is fucking awesome. And also, for, like, people consider them, like, jokey, dude, like, their choruses are awesome, dude. Like, undeniably well-written music, dude. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody says about that band. The band is awesome.
That band is incredibly awesome. You watch the music videos, and they're funny as all hell. You listen to the lyrics, and it's like, this isn't the most serious thing in the world, but they're taking the music seriously by creating those catchy choruses, by creating those absolutely insane moments, but they're not taking themselves seriously, so it's not like they're just going to be so rigid. And you watch music videos, you might think it's silly, you might think it's a little corny, you might think the lyrics are corny, but you can't deny, again, how catchy some of this stuff is, how awesome this stuff is. And I implore you, if you've not seen Electric Callboy show, you have to go and do it, because it is the biggest party in metal that you're ever going to see.
It's awesome. It's literally an EDM show, but metal. It's fucking great.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting, actually, like, from a recording this, I get to see it in, like, 5 days, and I'm just like, I cannot wait to see what happens.
Have fun, bro.
Oh, it's going to be an absolute blast. But again, it's the bands that have that authenticity to them and where they're just making the music that they absolutely love and are growing and expanding that sound. They're the ones that people are getting behind. You guys absolutely have that as well. And it just shows that in a world today where there's so much on social media, there's so much when it comes to trying to fit into like a certain algorithm standpoint where you have to fit into a certain realm. Otherwise, the algorithm's not going to like you. You might not get out there. The bands that somehow still have this creative aspect behind them are, especially in rock and metal, are still the ones that are going strong and still the ones that are growing above everybody else.
Agreed. Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah, and because before talking to you, I had a conversation with Lauren from Red Hand Denial. We talked all about this stuff where there's a struggle behind there, but it's so weird where, if you look at some of the pop artists or some of the hip hop artists, it seems like all the ones that are on top are kind of very much the same. Like, Bring Me the Horizon and Sleep Token, they're crazy, but they're two different things. Different. But if you listen to Sleep Token and Electric Callboy too, it's just like, where does this fit in? Throw Lorna Shore in there, and you're just like, how the hell are these all like popular with the same crowd?
Metal.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it's insane, man. Like, I think, I listen to a bunch of different genres of music, man, and like, I do think that metal is definitely the most eclectic. Mm-hmm. Like of everything, because like you said, there's so many bands that sound so different, but they all fall into the same category. When that's why it's subdivided so much, is why there's like, there's metalcore and there's deathcore and then there's progressive and then there's this and then there's that. When with like pop and country and whatever the fuck, it's all just like, this is a pop artist, this is a country artist, this is this is that. It's not like pop, it's like, this is progressive pop, synthcore, da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, that's why it's like, it's all pop, which is all like the same genre. You know what I mean? Which is like, then you have metal, which is like where you have like metalcore and deathcore. Like, those two are metal bands and core bands, but they sound completely different. And I think that that's what's like super cool, is like you have so much variety, because there's so many like different ways to do metal. You know what I mean? Like, there's really not, there's like only so many recipes you could do with pop and country. Like, those have been set for years, you know?
Yeah, because I think about country music. I still always think about Bo Burnham did like a fake country song, and I'm like, this sounds like it would be an absolute hit on the radio. And it's
Right.
all the lyrics are just like the most generic things he could possibly think of to throw into a pandering style country song. And with pop as well, I don't really listen to it at all because it just doesn't connect with me.
Yeah.
But it's just anytime I hear someone put it on, I'm like, was this the same artist, or is this like the same? It's all in the same realm.
I get it.
I get it. If it's popular and people like it, it works. If people connect with it, it absolutely works. I understand that. But when it comes to rock and metal, it's so much different when you have, you could go to a festival. Like, I'll use, I think the day recording this, the Welcome to Rockville lineup. Literally, you can go and see Slaughter to Prevail, then jump the stage to the next one to go and see Electric Callboy, then go to the main stage right after to see Falling in Reverse, and you're going to see three completely different things with bands that are absolutely amassing not only a massive following online, but a massive following of fans in person that are going to be at their shows with completely different experiences. Now, if all of a sudden you threw Lorna Shore into the mix, throw everybody else off and just be like, what the hell is actually going on? But the same people are at all these shows because they love all this kind of music, and everyone's getting into it. You're right. It's the most eclectic thing.
It's also a testament to the genre itself, because, we're pushing so many boundaries and bringing in so many different influences to everything, that's why it's amassing such this giant like pool of people coming to these shows, is because we're pulling from pop artists and country artists and EDM artists and whatever the fuck. Like, all of these fans are trickling in from mainstream to the metal community, because the metal community is doing so much like genre bending, to be real. And that's why we're more than ever like more accessible to like the wider mainstream audience, which is like why everyone's followings are so fucking huge right now. It's like crazy as fuck to like watch, to be real.
It really is, because I never thought I would see bands that are like in the hardcore scene, especially I'm just using Spotify monthly listener count because that's a metric everyone can see. Oh. I was expecting hardcore bands to have like 1 to 2 million monthly listeners and have it consistently, but we're seeing that happen. We're seeing a band that decided to lean into the whole entire campiness of horror movies, become one of the most popular bands, not only in metal, but really take over even in certain parts of pop culture because of that influence. Yeah. And by bending and blending all those different genres together, people have a different way to connect with rock and metal, not just based on like the sheer sound of the guitar, the sheer pattern of the drums, or what the vocals are doing. They're able to connect on so many different aspects of different patterns, different flows, different progressions, different just anything. Because so many bands are influenced by so many different things, and we're bringing it all in, where compared to other pop artists or country artists, that individuality is able to be shown more because the blend is so great.
100%. And that's why everyone's pushing the boundaries so much, man, because like right now everyone's so hungry for genre bending. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants the next Sleep Token. Everybody wants the next Bad Omens. Everybody wants the new, like, what's going to be the next genre bending band that comes out that like captures everyone's like, holy shit, this band is doing it. You know what I mean? And that's where I think it's cool about like rock and metal fans, is they're always like looking for a new band. Like everyone, like it's like you can love Bad Omens or Sleep Token and Bring Me the Horizon stuff, but like they're listening to Discover Weekly. It's crazy. Like those people are like currently looking for bands that sound like them, or like that like fill that void for them for some reason, dude. It's crazy, and it's pretty cool. I think it's rad that how like hungry everyone is to like find new bands, and like how easy it is for new, like not, well, quote unquote easy,
Yeah.
For these smaller bands to catch wind so fast, because like people are just like hungry and looking for new bands to fucking jam,
People are hungry looking for new bands, Jim. Of course, there's always different like roadblocks in that way because of Spotify. Can you like please the algorithm on that? Are you going to hit on TikTok with something? But the ability still is there to a certain capacity where you're able to potentially have something like that with the discoverability tool. One thing I was going to bring up too is with how much genre blending is happening, it always seems like with rock and metal, they're always more on the forefront of that, because going back to, the late 90s, mid-90s, late 90s, 2000s with new metal, bringing in more of those hip hop influences into metal itself. And people were just like, at the beginning of it, like, oh, this is terrible. Like new metal had that terrible, like, stigma to it.
Everyone hated it.
Yeah. And now look at it. It's like you look at these festival lineups. Yeah, Slipknot's always headlining at some point. If Limp Bizkit comes by, everyone's going crazy to see Fred Durst do something.
They're playing at Rockville, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and it's like and people are, and they're headlining. People are going to see it because they still absolutely love it. But it's something where, and even imagine if Linkin Park was still touring, if Chester was still around, they would be selling out, like they'd be selling out stadiums easily at this point.
Stadiums for sure, yeah, 100%.
And without a shred of a doubt. But it's always with rock and metal. There's always a way where you can blend all these other genres in there, and even if you get resistance at first from the fans because it is new and people don't always like change, there's gonna be a time where more bands will be like, they're gonna check it out, they're gonna take inspiration from it, and you're gonna be at the forefront of it too, where you can continue to go and do that. And more people are getting into this stuff because these different tropes can maximize out exactly what you're trying to produce in your music, and they can scratch that creative itch that you have.
I mean, yeah, dude, like, it's just like, I don't know, I feel like I've just beat a dead horse, you know what I mean? I just think it's, like, cool that, like, metal can incorporate all of these things and still be true to, like, well, some old heads will be like, this is stupid, stop fucking bringing all these different, like, genres into metal, let's keep metal. But, that's why metal is getting so fucking popular, dude. It's because all of these different brands and stuff are coming in, like, and just, like, making it mainstream, you know what I mean? Which is cool as fuck.
Yeah, and think about it, too. That's something we've always wanted, especially over the past 10 years. How many times have we heard rock is dead, metal is dead, and we're seeing it happen. Like, we're seeing that final just, whoo, it's coming to life.
It's the boom.
It's the boom, and we got to ride the wave of it. And there's so many bands that are absolutely at the forefront of it when it comes to the creativity side. And there's so many bands you can still discover too that are going to be a part of that. Where you guys are kind of like, we know the bands are up top. We don't know any of the bands that are like, really small that are starting to do this stuff. But you guys kind of fit in that middle of, we know you're there, we see you rising, and we're just waiting for you to get to that moment where it's like, you're playing these festivals, you're playing later in the day, you're hitting on every single aspect that so many people like. And potentially with this album too, where you have two of the heaviest slam songs still yet to come out, and two of the like lightest songs you guys ever created, and one that's in the middle. You never know what's gonna pop off where. What's Octane gonna pick up? What's Liquid Metal gonna pick up? What's pop culture gonna pick up on? What is TikTok gonna fall in love with? Like it
only
could all
time will tell.
Only time will tell, and hopefully it tells it well, because you guys absolutely deserve it, especially with the sound you guys have cultivated for yourselves.
Dude, thank you so much, man. The love is very appreciated, bro, for real.
Oh, you're very welcome. So let's go a little bit further beyond that. So album's going to come out in August. After that, what is going to be your biggest hope, especially going for the rest of 2024 after the album and then into 2025, knowing that you've got a gigantic tour and one hell of an album coming out?
Well, we're about to announce another tour for the end of the year, but it's not in the United States. And so that's going to be probably our biggest tour we've ever done. And so I'm stoked on that. And then, I think I'm just like, I don't really know how to answer that. It's like I'm hopeful that people are gonna fuck with it, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that like people aren't like too weirded out by how like crazy we went on the album. But at the end of the day, who cares? Because we're writing like another album already. Like we're literally already writing for like the album after this. So we're never gonna stop putting out music, whether people like it or not. Like there's people, you know what I mean? If you hate us, dude, we're gonna fucking you guys will really hate us, dude. By the time we're done. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just think it's I think I'm just stoked to embark on a new journey. Like every album process is like a new little adventure that we get to go on and see how like these new bands, like because with Feral that we dropped, I realized through all the touring after we did with that album that a lot of people were coming that were like, oh, dude, I found you guys from Feral. Like, it's all these new fans and all these new people that are coming up and being like, oh, man, like, it's a whole new cultivation of songs that people are, like, grasping onto. And I can't wait to meet that, like, next, generation of, like, I say generation, but like the next little like pop of like fans that find us from Leap of Death, and they're like, "Oh, dude, like I love this album." Like, the first thing I ever heard from you guys was like Lost in the Dark or Forever, whatever. And they're gonna come to these shows, and like I love meeting them and hearing stories of people just digging the music and like what they pull from the lyrics, and because I put a lot of effort into my lyrics. So I love, like, I will sit down and I'll talk to anybody about lyrics for however long they want to talk to me about it, dude. And I think it's like cool to hear people's like different takes on like what I say. Like, it's like, it's like, oh, I felt this whenever you said this, where it's like I wrote that in a completely different mindset, like they're pulling this whole different like feeling and shit, and I think that's really cool. But other than meeting those people, I think that like I'm excited to tour more and just be out on the road and meet new people and take everything as it comes with my best friends, and that's really all I fucking think about every album that comes out is just like take everything as it comes.
I'm pretty sure what the biggest thing I'm a fan about from that answer is like when it comes to new album or it comes to any new experience, you're just taking it as a new adventure. So you're not having those expectations of I hope this happens, I hope this happens. If it doesn't happen, then you're kind of lost within it. You're just letting the experience be. You're letting everybody come into what Left to Suffer is, really embrace the whole entire identity that the band has and really let themselves get lost in it. And I love what you're bringing up with the lyrics too, because when we listen to music, especially as fans, and you as a fan of music as well, you're listening to something, it's going to connect with you in a very specific way based on the fact that the artist, who in this case you're molding a certain story around a certain emotion, you're presenting it through the music, and we can feel that. So we're going to take the emotion that we felt during a specific period of our time in life and relate to that. So then we listen to the lyrics, it's that emotional guide that kind of walks us through that moment and gives us a reflection on what happened during that time. Maybe it was good, maybe it was bad. How have we changed from that? It's a powerful thing that can happen, and especially on the first two singles you guys released, lyrically, I think you absolutely hit on that.
Thanks, man. There's a song called Medicine on the album that's about to come out that's like super dark, and like it's a pretty sad song, but with it has Lil Lotus and Alejandro on it. Mm-hmm. And that's like probably the best lyrical song on the album, and it hits super hard if you've gone through the situation. And like it's like I think that you can pull so many different like feelings from those lyrics, like not just from like the one specific thing that I wrote about, because it's like kind of vague, but it's still like if you read it like for context, you'd be like, okay, this is exactly what this is about, But I feel like listening to it, I've listened to that song 1,000 times at this point, but there's this feeling that you get when the chorus hits that like it's a pretty indescribable. I'm excited for people to hear that song, to be real.
So now you're getting me excited to hear it, because I'm because thinking about it, just the way that it hits, I was thinking about the song Forever, because that song, it seemed like it just, if you really went through a situation like what I thought it was about, it just kind of took this emotional toll on you to really reflect back on, from what I thought it was like a powerful ode to the one that got away and all the ones that we struggle in life to potentially get past or get over. As we dive deeper that emotional toll, how we feel so down and so disappointed in our own selves when potentially like we have someone we love, like a relationship or something, and we let that person go or we lose them, and we question if we can even continue on without them. We hurt, cause ourselves pain, and we hope we can get some sort of redemption in the end, but we have to make the change in the end to lose them forever, because that's what's best in the end. And it sucks, but at times it must be done.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. You nailed that, dude. That was crazy.
Well, I could do the same thing for Lost in the Dark too, because I did the exact same thing for that song.
Here, give me. Yeah, I want to know what you pulled from that one.
All right, Lost in the Dark. I pulled from this one. I pulled that it was about fighting your own inner demons caused by a manipulative relationship. When you are left alone and being in that own arena, it really sucks, and you feel like you are not the same person. When you realize that you are now when you realize that you're like out of the relationship, you can kind of see that weren't the same person and you weren't who you are anymore. So you have to fight like hell to get back to who you are. And it ain't easy to fight. So you have to absolutely go like crazy and fight like a madman just to survive.
So yeah, you gave it a little bit more of a oh yeah, we're gonna get better kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mine was a little bit more helpless. So basically, it is about being in a toxic relationship, and it is about like losing yourself and like pretty much just coming out the other end like confused on who you are, and Lost in the Dark. Pretty much that it's literally verbatim is like you get lost after the relationship, and you can never pull yourself back to where you were again because your chest is just like a cavity. So you're pretty much just lost forever. And there was never like an up like bringing after that. That whole song is just like it's depressing. It was all just like very dark, and it was very not a happy ending situation, that's for sure.
I know why I took it and kind of twisted more of that like fight like hell and get back to our happy ending-ish. Not because I always want a song to have a happy ending, but it was because when I went through something like that, and it wasn't necessarily a relationship that changed me, but it was like the relationship was like the straw that broke the camel's back of everything that happened to me the previous 6 months.
Right.
And trying to get down, I went down the depths of like depression, suicidal tendencies, everything like that. And it was trying to fight like hell just to figure out, remembering what made me happy, what I actually enjoyed in life, and trying to find that passion once again. So the way the song is paced, the aggression behind it, it was fighting like hell. And after that, and I figured out like who I am a little bit more, figured that back out, got back to myself, figured out what made me happy. I tried to put that energy into something so I could make something for myself. And that's exactly what I'm talking to you today, man, because it's exactly what the outcome of that was.
Yeah, the themes of Forever and Lost in the Dark, they play off of each other, going into each other.
Yeah.
Because Forever starts, and you're like, oh yeah, I can't live without you, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then it goes into the toxicity of the relationship, and you start thinking about all the toxic stuff, and then you're like, oh shit, I fucked up, and I trusted this person, and now I've lost myself. So like that whole like, those two songs pretty much dump you into Leap of Death, where you have to take the leap of death to come and like to get to the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I absolutely do, because, and it's a human nature too. It's, you know, when something is removed from our lives, or like a person's removed through like a breakup or anything like that, we always think about, you know, especially in the aftermath directly, what we lost, the positive side of it, because that's all we can think about. We're focused in on like the negative that we feel and like what we lost in the positive there. But then as time goes on, you have that time separation, and then all of a sudden you start to pick up on, oh, I remember I missed that, but wait, why did that happen? Why do I miss that when the overall experience was more of a manipulative side or a toxic side? Then that depth really starts to add in there, and then you really have to dive deep into that leap of death to potentially kind of kill off exactly what you thought was good for you or what you thought you were, to find back what you truly are and come back even stronger than the end.
Yeah, man. I love talking about lyrics, dude. This shit makes me happy. I love that shit.
Dude, I'm so glad I decided to dive deep into these two songs really lyrically.
I'm glad you did too. That's fucking cool, man. I appreciate you actually like jamming out and like really like trying to, you know, pull from it at least, dude. Like I really respect that, dude.
Oh, thank you very much. And you're absolutely welcome. It's something I absolutely love to do, just because we can get so in deep with the song, and we can not only connect with what you were trying to write about, but we can connect so much more with our inner selves as well, and really learn exactly what we need to learn from our inner selves in order to become the better people we want to be, no matter what the song is about. Heck, I could do the same thing with, you know, I'll use We Got the Moves by Electric Callboy. I could pull something out of there that would give me positivity.
For sure.
From listening to what you did with these two tracks already, I can already relate back to certain things that I did in life that had happened to me, and really understand again why that happened. You know, really have this emotional connection and this tangible explanation to them, because you create a sound that can actually encapsulate that emotion overall.
Yeah, I mean, I try to pull from real experience when I write. I don't ever want to write about something that I've never been through. So I always put myself in like really, I don't know, like I've had a decent amount of traumatic situations that I've been through already in my life. So I try to pull from the pain, because every time I feel this is like super fucking like lame, to be honest with you. Like, it's like, I really do like pull from my pain, because like every time that I do write about it, like it does make me come to terms with like things a little bit more. So whenever I write any of our stuff, like, and I'm pulling from like a part that like hurts within me, I really do feel like it's healing me in the end. So that's why I enjoy like listening to what other people pull from it. Cause like I write in like, sometimes I write in like metaphor and like kind of like vague like circumstance, you know what I mean? So, you know, that can sometimes get misinterpreted in like different ways, which is fine, you know what I mean? Cause all music is subjective. I firmly believe in that. Like I could write a whole song about being broken up with and being a sad motherfucker for like my entire life, and then some guy could be like, oh man, I thought that song was about like a dragon, dude, and I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude, like whatever, man, if that's what you thought it was about, like, I mean, more power to you, dude. Like, I mean, that's an extreme circumstance, you know what I mean? Like
I would say that definitely is an extreme circumstance. If I was thinking about a song that's being written about dragons or whatnot, I'd go to the most recent Trivium album, in the Court of the Dragon, because it's literally in the name. But
yeah.
But even from that standpoint too, even if you're consistently writing from like the pain that you experienced in the past, and it's a form of healing even for yourself, I think about all the great music that's out there, and so many artists do the exact same thing because it's raw, it's visceral, and so many of us have connected through that because we've gone through similar things. Think about Bring Me the Rise with the Sempiternal album, with Ollie trying to get off of ketamine. Like the whole entire album is based off of that, and it continues to resonate with so many people today with songs like Sleepwalking and Can You Feel My Heart. But you might connect with it in a completely different way over something different. Maybe it was a relationship. Maybe it was alcohol. Maybe it was just some like depression that you didn't know what it was and you couldn't get like kick out of it. But that was the inspiration point for you in a completely different manner. Or maybe you thought it was about like an actual heart that couldn't, like demons that, you know, knew how to swim. I don't know what it was, but you know, you're going to connect with them that huge potential emotional capacity because you're putting it all out there. We're feeling what you felt, and we're able to relate to it because we felt the same thing. But the beauty is you're able to actually articulate that through your music.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. It's definitely a fun one to write lyrics, man. I fucking love just getting stuff out. It's my favorite part of being a musician is writing the music.
Now, would you ever write a song about a dragon, though?
No. Not me. Definitely. I'll leave that to the other people that write about like D&D and you know whatever.
Yeah, I had to ask. I'm like, that'd be too funny to hear a Left to Suffer song about a dragon. But what if there's a metaphorical dragon in there about something?
Maybe I could like throw a metaphorical dragon in at some point, but I'm not a fantasy guy.
That is fair because I'm really not that much of a fantasy guy myself either. That never really connected with me. So I can't remember what band I was seeing. I was like, come on, guys, you know, let's wrap this up. I'm kind of tired of like the elves and kings and stuff.
Yeah, bro. It definitely, you know, more power to them, dude. Everyone's got a little niche that they fucking live in, but it's just definitely not my thing.
No, it's not my thing. But then all of a sudden, the next band that went on was all about pirates and metal, and I'm like, well, this is much
Amon
more
Amarth?
fun. No, it was Ailstorm from
Ailstorm.
Scotland.
Right, yeah.
Just about like drinking and plundering.
Plundering. We're fucking going down the hole.
Just with the sound of that, you should definitely feature on an Ailstorm song.
God.
You never know, Ailstorm, something crazy featuring Taylor Barber of Left to Suffer. I would be like, how the hell is this?
Yee-ho, and going towards the beauty.
And then just a big giant, like, just deathcore growling. That would be insane. If I ever talk to Ailstorm, I'm going to bring up the idea to them and just see what they say. Dude.
Yeah, bring it up to. We'll see what we can do, man.
Bring it up, see what they say. Well, Taylor, I do have one question I really do want to ask you, and it's something I love asking every single artist I bring onto the podcast. It helps us get to know more of the music that you absolutely love and get to into more new music ourselves. So I always limit it to 3. Can you name me 3 artists that you absolutely love right now that you would love to see more people get into?
The Plot in You. Damn, dude, this is rough. That more people should get into. There's a band called Backslide from Georgia that's really fucking sick that you guys should check out. And then there's also shout out Atlanta fucking metal, dude. Look up Of Ancients as well. OV Ancients. That band is super sick.
was like, there's a lot of people I know know the plot in you, but they definitely deserve a lot more love. The other two, though, I've never heard of in my life, so that's even new for me.
Yeah, Backslide Innovations, man. Check them out. They're fire.
We will absolutely have to check them out. Well, Taylor, as we bring this episode to its conclusion, one thing I like to do is give my guest, which is you in this standpoint right now, a chance to say whatever you want to say, plug over to plug, promote or promote at the end of the episode. So, my friend, the floor is yours.
Yo, I'm in Left to Suffer. If you didn't know already, we have a new album coming out on August 16th, I'm pretty sure, Leap of Death, and it's going to be freaking awesome. I'm very excited to hear what you guys think about it. We're about to be on tour. Let me pull up the dates. Real quick. We're going to be on tour with Hannibal on... Oh my God. I'm freaking out. Everything's messed up.
I was like,
we're going to be on tour with Hannibal from 5/14 through 5/31, and then we're going to be on tour on Summer Slaughter in July and August. So come check us out. We were about to announce a European tour if anybody's listening from Europe, so keep your eyes peeled on our socials. All of our socials are just at Left to Suffer. All of my socials are just at Taylor Suffers. So hang out, come DM me. I love to talk about music. Again, thank you fucking for having me on the fucking show. And Kevin looks super freaking handsome today, and I appreciate that he had me on the show, dude, and this has been really fun for me.
Oh, dude, that ending of it just made me feel so much better about that. Like,
there you go, brother.
I'm in positivity mode right now, having a blast, and so thank you very much, Taylor.
Yeah.
Now I got to end this podcast with three things. So first things first, Leap of Death comes out on August 16th. And Left Suffer's going to be going out with Hannibal, and they're on the Summer Slaughter Tour. So you do not want to miss out on any of this. So best thing to do is go to the script for the podcast below where it says Find Left to Suffer online. There'll be link labels for everything social media wise, where you can listen to music, where you can stream the album when it comes out, where you can get some merch, where you can get those tickets to those shows, and where you can follow Taylor as well, because that all sounds like a good idea too. So it's all gonna be down there. I'm doing all the work. Call me your own personal Google on this one, because all you have to do is go down there and click the links. I already did all the searching for you, so go and do it. Now it's time for number 2. Well, Taylor, every time I guest the podcast, I enjoy the podcast, I tend to make a certain promise, a way to say, thank you for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it. And I would like to support you in the future any way I can. And this is how I like to do it. So when I get to see you perform live for the next time, I'm going to do my best to go all Liam Neeson from Taken on you, where I will look for you. I will pursue you. I will find you, but I'll say hi, and the first round's on me.
Sounds good to me, brother. I appreciate that, man.
And it's probably going to be, honestly, the Summer Slaughter Tour date in Chicago, because that's probably the closest one to me at this point.
We'll get a little beer together and fucking hang out, man.
Oh, I absolutely would love that. Also, because I'm a big beer guy, so
yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah. Now it's time for number 3. Taylor, can end this podcast by saying goodbye, because this was fantastic. I would absolutely love to have you on the podcast again in the future. On top of that, I made you a promise, and I got to make good on that promise. Come, I think it's the first day in August or something, even when that one show. So, hell yeah. On that note, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you later. Woo! Well, folks, I'm interviewing with Taylor from the band Left to Suffer, and now it's time for Kevin's final thoughts. So, this was kind of fun because I literally recorded this one right after recording the previous episode you guys just saw with Lauren Babick from Red Handed Denial. And the reason I want to bring that up is because when I think about it, with Lauren, we talked a lot about, when it comes to bands, how do they keep that individuality, especially in a world where social media is such a big thing, doom scrolling on TikTok is such a big thing, and discoverability can be so low given the fact that creativity is restricted potentially at times to what's going to be popularized by a specific algorithm. Now, with Taylor, we took it a little bit of a different approach where that's still possible, and it's all based on the fact that when bands in rock and metal right now blend all these different genres together, when they bend, they break, they try these new different things, bands that do that and continue to grow up are continuing to get a lot more exposure because people are dying for that. People want to find that individualized, sound. So it's still possible. It is still always there. And it is a beautiful thing. I think about, we talk about bands like Bring Me the Horizon, Bad Omen, Sleep Token, Electric Callboy, Falling in Reverse. They're constantly doing these crazy brand new things with a whole different sound. And they're absolutely hitting off on it. Then there's bands that are kind of having a more of a similar sound, but they're finding their niche. I mean, take a look at Ice Nine Kills with the whole horror thing. Slars Prevail with Alex Terrible. Look at what Lorna Shore is doing with Will Ramos and the cinematic deathcore style. Knocked Loose is absolutely hating it with the hardcore stuff with, not only hardcore fans, but metal fans and mainstream people. And Alpha Wolf is pretty much right in their tracks too. It's a beautiful thing to see. Left to Suffer is one of those bands that's doing the exact same thing, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's something where the more we foster that creativity in rock and metal, the better off we're going to be, and we're going to make sure rock and metal are not dead like everyone said 10 years ago. So make sure you follow along with Left to Suffer, because they're going to make sure you guys are getting all the great music of anything you guys could possibly imagine. Heavy as hell. Oh yeah. Go stream the podcast where it says find Left to Suffer online samples for everything for Left to Suffer and Taylor, where you can find them online, connect with them, watch music videos, stream music, and go get your tickets for shows for Hanabiye, for the Summer Slaughter Tour, and of course, a soon to be announced European tour. Also, make sure you subscribe to the podcast right down here. New episodes every single Tuesday and Thursday with possible reactions every single Friday. Well, I say possible reactions because we do have one every week, almost every Friday though. Also, the like button right down here to help push us in that algorithm. Help us get more exposure and get more bands known as well. Hit follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also like the episodes on there as well. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Link to the podcast below. Thank you, Taylor. I'll see you at the Summer Slaughter Tour in Chicago. On that note, that's what you guys think for watching, listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single voice on the big, healthy, and hearty. See ya! Yeah!